So there was a history of this kind of activity in London going back to the 1960s, and it was very important because it became actually a model for what has happened elsewhere in the country. So my first memory was when I was working at Museum London, and Matthew Teitelbaum was the curator of contemporary art, and he was asked to speak at the Embassy Culture House in, I think it was May of 1983. So I prepared to go. It was at night, and I hadn't I knew where the Embassy Cultural Hotel was, the Embassy Hotel, but I did not know specifically where the Cultural House was. So I parked my car in the parking lot between Queens Avenue and Dundas, and then there was an alleyway to get me through from the parking lot to Dundas. And I spent quite a bit of my life actually living in much larger cities than London, so I have a certain amount of street smarts, but which made me a little nervous going down this alleyway. So then I turned left, and it was sort of dusky at that time, and the Embassy Hotel was right there. And I knew that the Embassy Cultural House was part of the Embassy Hotel. So I went into the hotel, and there wasn't anybody there. So I opened the door, and there was a pool hall, and then I opened another door, and it was a bar, and there were lots of looks angled in my direction. So then I sort of saw some stairs. So I went upstairs, and there was nothing going, just a lot of closed doors. So I came back down, and I went outside, and I walked a little further along the frontage, and there was the Embassy Cultural House. So that was my first memory. And I was there many times over the years that it was operating. There were landmark exhibitions. I remember going to a fundraiser. I actually bought a work of art where the artists had put their works on the walls, and people put bids in, I think. I was outbid on a piece that I've always regretted. It was a piece of Murray Favreau's, and it was an interesting piece of sculpture. So I don't have that, but I still have the other piece that I did buy. And all of there was a great community of artists that participated. If you look through the history of the exhibitions, there were a lot of group exhibitions where the artists collaborated together. And I think the whole collaborative aspect of having that space was very important.